Welcome to Global Power Brief. I'm Haunted Boy Al-Amin. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with fellow Young and the Restless fans, because today's story is packed with shocking twists, hidden secrets, and drama you won't want to miss. So grab a seat, and let's dive right into today's YNR update. Victor's final deal, a secret that could destroy everything. Genoa City had seen its share of scandals, betrayals, and shocking revelations, but nothing could have prepared its residents for what was about to unfold. The morning sun had barely risen when Victor Newman stood alone inside his office at Newman Enterprises. For the first time in weeks, he felt as though he had finally regained control of his empire. The company was back in his hands, his enemies were on the defensive, and the Newman family appeared stronger than ever. Or so he thought. Victor stared at a sealed envelope lying on his desk. It had arrived anonymously during the night. There was no return address, no explanation, and no indication of who had sent it. Only one message was written across the front. Victor Newman must learn the truth. Victor slowly opened the envelope. Inside was a photograph. The image immediately drained the color from his face. It showed a younger Nikki Newman standing beside a man Victor had never seen before. What shocked him even more was the date written on the back of the picture. 30 years ago. Victor's hands trembled as he turned the photo over once more. A second note slipped out. Ask Nikki what happened in Los Angeles. For the first time in years, Victor felt genuine fear. Meanwhile, across town, Lily Winters was celebrating. After months of uncertainty, she finally had control of Chancellor Industries. The victory felt satisfying, but something about the situation continued to bother her. Victor Newman never gave anything away without expecting something in return. As Lily settled into her new office, she reviewed company records that had recently been transferred to her control. Most of the files appeared normal. Until she discovered one hidden folder. The documents inside referenced a series of financial transactions made years earlier. Millions of dollars. Transferred through several shell corporations. One name appeared repeatedly throughout the paperwork. Audra Charles. Lily's excitement quickly disappeared. Why would Audra be connected to secret transactions involving Chancellor? And why had Victor never mentioned them? Lily realized she might have inherited far more than a company. She may have inherited a dangerous secret. At Crimson Lights, Sharon Newman was enjoying a rare moment of peace. The recent drama involving Phyllis Summers had unexpectedly changed her perspective. For years, Sharon and Phyllis had been rivals. They had fought over relationships, family issues, and countless misunderstandings. But after everything that had happened recently, Sharon could no longer deny the truth. Phyllis had changed. At least she wanted to believe she had. When Phyllis entered the coffee shop, Sharon surprised everyone by inviting her to sit down. Phyllis looked suspicious. "Are you planning to throw coffee at me?" she joked. Sharon laughed. "No. I think we've wasted enough years fighting." Phyllis stared at her. For a moment neither woman spoke. Then Sharon extended her hand. Maybe it was time for a fresh start. Phyllis hesitated before accepting. But neither woman noticed they were being watched. A man sitting in the corner lowered his newspaper. His eyes remained fixed on Phyllis. He quietly pulled out his phone. "She's here," he whispered. "We've found her." Across town, Holden Novak believed his worst days were behind him. He couldn't have been more wrong. He arrived at his apartment to find someone waiting outside his door. A woman. The moment he saw her face, he froze. His entire body tensed. "No," Holden muttered. The woman stepped forward. "It's been a long time." Holden's heart pounded. He had spent years making sure this chapter of his life remained buried. Yet somehow, she had found him. "What do you want?" he demanded. The woman smiled coldly. "I want the truth." Before Holden could respond, she handed him a small flash drive. "You should see what's on this." She turned and walked away. Holden rushed inside and inserted the drive into his laptop. Seconds later, a video appeared on the screen. His face went pale. The footage showed a night he had desperately tried to forget. A night involving himself, Audra, and a missing art gallery owner. The same man everyone believed had disappeared years ago. Holden immediately called Audra. She answered after the first ring. "What's wrong?" Holden struggled to speak. "He knows." Silence filled the line. Audra's breathing stopped. "Who knows?" Holden stared at the screen. The video continued playing. Then he whispered the words that would change everything. "The gallery owner. The man who was supposed to be dead." Holden Novak could barely breathe. His hands shook as he stared at the laptop screen. The grainy security footage continued to play, showing a night that was supposed to have vanished forever. A younger Holden stood beside Audra Charles in a Los Angeles art gallery. The footage was incomplete, but one thing was clear: an argument had taken place. And at the center of that argument was the gallery owner, Damian Cross. A man everyone believed had disappeared years ago. Or perhaps, a man everyone wanted to believe had disappeared. "Holden, talk to me," Audra shouted through the phone. Holden finally snapped back to reality. "I got a flash drive," he said. "Someone sent me proof." Audra's face turned white as she listened. "That's impossible." "I wish it was." Several seconds passed. Then Audra spoke the words neither of them wanted to hear. "What if he's alive?" The possibility hit Holden like a freight train. For years they had convinced themselves that Damian Cross was gone. Now they weren't so sure. Meanwhile, Victor Newman sat in his office, unable to focus on anything except the photograph he had received. Nikki's smiling face stared back at him from 30 years ago. The mystery man beside her looked familiar, but Victor couldn't place him. Finally, he picked up the phone. "Nikki, come to my office." His voice was calm. Too calm. Nikki immediately sensed something was wrong. Less than an hour later, she entered Newman Enterprises. Victor silently slid the photograph across his desk. The moment Nikki saw it, the color drained from her face. Victor noticed instantly. "You know exactly who that man is." Nikki looked away. For years she had kept certain memories locked away. Now those memories were threatening to escape. "Victor!" "No lies." Nikki took a deep breath. The room suddenly felt smaller. His name was Daniel Cross. Victor's eyes narrowed. "Cross?" Nikki slowly nodded. The name sent a chill through Victor. Because Daniel Cross was Damian Cross's father. Across Genoa City, Lily Winters continued investigating the strange financial records she had discovered at Chancellor Industries. The deeper she looked, the more disturbing the information became. Several transactions connected Chancellor to companies operating in Los Angeles years ago. One company stood out: Cross Fine Arts Holdings. Lily immediately recognized the surname Cross. The same name appearing in whispered rumors throughout Genoa City recently. Coincidence? She didn't think so. As she examined another document, her phone rang. It was Devon. "Lily, where are you?" "In my office." "I need to see you." His voice sounded urgent. 15 minutes later, Devon arrived carrying a folder. "I found something." Lily's stomach tightened. Devon opened the folder. Inside was a newspaper clipping from years ago. The headline read, "Los Angeles art dealer disappears under mysterious circumstances." Below the headline was a photograph. Lily stared at the picture. The missing man was Damian Cross. The same name connected to the hidden financial records. The same name now haunting Holden and Audra. Something huge was connecting all of these stories. And Lily was determined to uncover it. Elsewhere, Sharon Newman was beginning to enjoy her renewed friendship with Phyllis. For once, neither woman seemed interested in fighting. Nick Newman even joked that the world might be ending. But peace never lasts long in Genoa City. As Sharon prepared to leave Crimson Lights, she noticed a stranger watching them. The man quickly looked away. Sharon's instincts immediately kicked in. Years of drama had taught her when something felt wrong. The stranger followed Phyllis as she left. Sharon didn't hesitate. She followed too. The man stayed several car lengths behind Phyllis's vehicle. Sharon secretly followed both of them. After 20 minutes, the stranger pulled into an abandoned parking lot. Sharon parked nearby and watched. A black SUV approached. The stranger stepped out and handed someone inside the vehicle a photograph. Sharon couldn't hear the conversation. But she clearly heard one sentence. She has no idea what's coming. Sharon's blood ran cold. They were talking about Phyllis. Back at her penthouse, Audra sat alone replaying Holden's phone call. Her carefully constructed life was beginning to crack. For years she had buried the truth. Now the past was demanding payment. Then came a knock at the door. Audra cautiously opened it. Nobody was there. Only a small package sat on the floor. She picked it up. Inside was a single photograph. Audra nearly dropped it. The picture showed Damien Cross. Alive. Standing in front of a building. The photo had been taken only days earlier. Scrawled across the back was a chilling message. You should have finished what you started. Audra's hands trembled. Tears filled her eyes. Because she finally understood something terrifying. Damien Cross wasn't coming back for revenge. He was already here. And someone in Genoa City was helping him. Damien Cross returns to Genoa City. Audra Charles stared at the photograph for what felt like an eternity. Damien Cross. Alive. The image had clearly been taken recently. There was no mistake. The man standing in the picture was the same gallery owner who had vanished years ago and whose disappearance had haunted both Audra and Holden ever since. Her heart raced. For years, she had convinced herself that chapter of her life was over. She had built a new future, established herself in Genoa City, and worked hard to leave Los Angeles behind. Now the past had returned. And it was demanding answers. Audra immediately called Holden. When he answered, she didn't waste time. He's alive. Silence. Then Holden replied quietly, I know. You knew? I got another message. Audra's stomach dropped. What message? Holden hesitated. Then he spoke. Someone wants us to meet tonight. The fear in Audra's chest grew stronger. Who? I think it's Damien. Meanwhile, Victor Newman couldn't stop thinking about Nikki's confession. Daniel Cross. The name continued to echo in his mind. For decades, Nikki had hidden her connection to the Cross family. Victor wasn't angry. He was worried. Because every time an old secret resurfaced, it brought consequences. And Victor had learned long ago that consequences often arrived when people least expected them. As he reviewed information gathered by his security team, another troubling discovery emerged. Recent financial activity connected multiple companies in Genoa City to offshore accounts. The accounts traced back to a single source. Cross Holdings. Victor leaned back in his chair. This wasn't coincidence anymore. Someone connected to the Cross family was actively operating in Genoa City. And they had been planning something for a long time. Across town, Lily Winters continued digging through Chancellor Industries records. The deeper she looked, the more alarming things became. What started as suspicious financial transfers had evolved into something much larger. Entire company acquisitions had been secretly routed through shell corporations. Millions of dollars had moved without attracting attention. One signature appeared repeatedly. Victor Newman. Lily frowned. Victor had promised her Chancellor Industries. But had he given her the company because he trusted her? Or because he wanted someone else to inherit the problems? The question lingered in her mind. Just then, Devon arrived again. His expression told her everything. He had found something important. What is it? Lily asked. Devon placed another file on her desk. You need to see this. Lily opened it. Inside was a recent property purchase. A large estate just outside Genoa City. The buyer's name was hidden behind several corporations. But the final beneficiary shocked her. Damien Cross. Lily's eyes widened. He's here. Devon nodded. He's been here for months. Elsewhere, Sharon Newman couldn't shake the feeling that Phyllis was in danger. The mysterious men she had seen following her were becoming increasingly bold. She decided to tell Nick everything. Inside the Newman ranch, Sharon explained what she had witnessed. Nick listened carefully. By the time she finished, his concern was obvious. You think somebody's targeting Phyllis? I know they are. Nick immediately called security. No matter how complicated his history with Phyllis had been, he wasn't about to ignore a threat against her. Unfortunately, danger was already much closer than anyone realized. That evening, Holden arrived at the meeting location. An abandoned warehouse near the edge of town. The building looked deserted. But Holden knew better. Audra arrived moments later. Neither spoke as they entered. The massive room was dark except for a single light hanging from the ceiling. Underneath the light sat a chair. And in that chair was a man. Slowly, he stood. Audra gasped. Holden froze. The man stepped forward. Older. Wiser. But unmistakably Damien Cross. For several seconds, nobody spoke. Finally, Damien smiled. I'd been waiting a long time for this. Audra's voice trembled. You should be dead. Damien laughed. So should a lot of people. Holden stepped forward. What do you want? The smile disappeared from Damien's face. I want the truth. The truth about what? Damien's eyes hardened. My father. Both Audra and Holden exchanged nervous glances. Because they knew exactly what he meant. Daniel Cross. The man connected to Nikki Newman. The man whose name had suddenly resurfaced after decades. Damien continued. For years, everyone blamed me for what happened. His voice grew colder. But my father wasn't destroyed by me. He pointed directly at them. He was destroyed by the Newmans. The room fell silent. Audra couldn't believe what she was hearing. Victor Newman. Nikki Newman. Daniel Cross. Everything was connected. Every secret. Every lie. Every mystery. Then Damien reached into his coat pocket. He removed a folder. And tossed it onto the table. Tomorrow morning, he said. The entire city learns the truth. Holden opened the folder. His face instantly turned pale. Audra looked over his shoulder. Inside were documents, photographs, financial records, and personal letters. Enough evidence to destroy reputations. Enough evidence to tear apart families. Enough evidence to bring Genoa City to its knees. Damien turned toward the exit. Then he stopped. Without looking back, he delivered one final warning. Victor Newman thinks he's won. He smiled. He has no idea the war is just beginning. The secret that shattered Genoa City. The warehouse fell silent after Damien Cross walked away. Holden, Novak and Audra Charles remained frozen in place, staring at the folder left behind. Neither wanted to open it. Neither wanted to know what secrets were hidden inside. But they had no choice. Holden slowly flipped through the documents. Every page revealed another piece of a story that had been buried for decades. Letters. Bank records. Private photographs. legal agreements. And one shocking truth connected them all. Daniel Cross and Nikki Newman had shared a secret relationship years before Nikki married Victor Newman. Audra's hands trembled. This can't be real. Holden wasn't so sure. The evidence appeared authentic. If these documents became public, they wouldn't simply damage reputations. They would change the history of Genoa City forever. Meanwhile, Victor Newman woke early the next morning. Something felt wrong. Years of experience had taught him to trust his instincts. As he entered Newman Enterprises, Michael Baldwin was already waiting. His expression said everything. "We have a problem." Victor narrowed his eyes. "What kind of problem?" Michael handed him a tablet. The headline instantly caught Victor's attention. "Explosive documents threaten powerful Genoa City family." Victor's face darkened. The story had not revealed everything yet, but rumors were already spreading. Someone was preparing to release information. And the city was paying attention. Victor knew immediately who was responsible. Damian Cross. Across town, Nikki Newman was sitting alone at the ranch when her phone rang. It was Victoria. "Mom, have you seen the news?" Nikki's heart sank. She had spent years hoping the past would remain buried. Now it was clawing its way back to the surface. Victoria arrived minutes later. "What is going on?" Nikki struggled to answer. She had hidden the truth for so long that speaking about it felt impossible. Finally, she looked at her daughter. "There are things you don't know about my past." Victoria's expression changed instantly. She realized this wasn't another family disagreement. This was something much bigger. At Chancellor Industries, Lily Winters was dealing with her own crisis. The documents she had uncovered connected multiple businesses, political figures, and powerful families. And now Damian Cross was at the center of everything. Devon arrived carrying fresh information. "You need to see this." Lily took the report. Her eyes widened. Damian had quietly purchased stakes in several companies throughout Genoa City, including businesses connected to Newman Enterprises. For months, he had been building influence. Nobody noticed. Nobody suspected. Until now. Lily suddenly understood. Damian wasn't seeking revenge alone. He was executing a plan. A very long-term plan. Meanwhile, Sharon Newman found Phyllis at Crimson Lights. The atmosphere felt different. The entire city was buzzing with rumors. Phyllis looked exhausted. "You heard the news?" Sharon nodded. "Everybody has." For a moment, they sat quietly. Years ago, they would have blamed each other for whatever chaos was unfolding. Now things were different. Phyllis sighed. "Why does trouble always find me?" Sharon laughed softly. "Maybe because you usually run toward it." For the first time all day, Phyllis smiled. But the moment didn't last. Nick suddenly entered the coffee shop. His face was pale. Everyone knew immediately something was wrong. "What happened?" Sharon asked. Nick looked directly at them. "The documents have been released." The room went silent. Within hours, Genoa City exploded with shock. News outlets published details from Damian's files. The revelations rocked the Newman family. Old business arrangements. Hidden financial deals. Long-forgotten relationships. Every secret was suddenly public. But the most shocking revelation wasn't about Victor. Or Nikki. Or Daniel Cross. It was about Damian himself. One final document revealed that Damian had spent years believing Victor Newman destroyed his family. But according to newly uncovered evidence, Victor wasn't responsible. Someone else was. Someone much closer to Damian. Someone he trusted. Someone who had manipulated him for decades. Damian was stunned. The truth he had spent years chasing had been based on a lie. Late that evening, Damien stood alone overlooking Genoa City. Everything he had worked for was unraveling. The revenge that had consumed his life suddenly felt meaningless. Footsteps approached behind him. He turned. Victor Newman stood there. Neither man spoke for several moments. Finally, Victor broke the silence. "You wanted answers." Damien nodded. "I got them." "And?" Damien looked away. The anger that had fueled him for years was gone. In its place was disappointment, regret, and sadness. The wrong person paid for my pain. Victor stepped forward. "Then stop making that mistake." For the first time since arriving in Genoa City, Damien didn't argue. Because deep down, he knew Victor was right. As the sun rose the following morning, Genoa City began a new chapter. Victor and Nikki faced difficult conversations about their past. Lily prepared to lead Chancellor Industries into the future. Sharon and Phyllis continued rebuilding a friendship nobody thought possible. Holden and Audra finally stopped running from old mistakes. And Damien Cross walked away from the war he had spent years trying to win. But in Genoa City, peace never lasts forever. Because somewhere in the shadows, another secret was already waiting. Another mystery. Another betrayal. Another storm. And when it arrives, no family will escape its consequences.